Wild Man Wes here, and welcome to day 30 of Shocktoberfest 2023. We are one day away from ending this series for the year. It has been a trip, hasn't it, folks? Whether it be some horror movies, whether family friendly, whether it's some real stinkers, but we've still had fun to what I believe is true. For today's episode, much like yesterday with another request, Hefe's wife Trixie asked that I review this movie. And you know what? I watched this movie and boy, it was made me question a lot about my own existence, but you know what? Not for the worst. We're going to be talking about a Korean psychological thriller from 2003, Oldboy. Whew, okay. So, let's get down to business. The movie is about a man who at some point was just a drunk, not very good to his wife. I'm sure he loved his daughter. Unfortunately, he gets abducted and put into a prison of some sorts and is locked away for 15 years. In these 15 years, he is subjected to a lot of hypnotist torture, a lot of gas out from the vents at night to pretty much like almost desensitize his whole living existence. But in the midst of it, he does have some form of cognitive resistance to it as he's breaking away at the walls of the prison to escape. After he escapes, he finds out that the person that imprisoned him knows of this and is playing a game with him to pretty much try and see if he can figure out who the person is that imprisoned him and why he imprisoned him. In the midst of all that, he meets a young woman that is a sushi chef, and they have a little bit of a romance, and they also have a bit of a cat and mouse game where the person that imprisoned him brings his gang in to pretty much threaten to kill her if he can't figure everything out in 5 days. As the days progress, he does figure out who imprisoned him and why he imprisoned him, while on the path of bloody rampage, which is pretty epic if I must say so myself. I'm just going to leave it at that because honestly, this is a movie that you have to really watch. I don't want to give too many spoilers on this one because even myself watching it for the first time, I was pretty much blown away. Because yes, this isn't considered a horror film, but the psychological punishment that one goes through and just the images of all the violence and just the trauma that's going on between everybody involved. Now it's time to talk about what I like and what I don't like about the film. When it comes to the things that I don't like, I guess you could say it's more of a personal retrospect, how it made me feel, I guess. Because during the movie, the main character is pretty much told to review his life. And as he goes through things in his life of what he did wrong, what he didn't do wrong, it's very much a conflict of interest. And in society, we all have moments of conflict of interest within ourselves. And in that aspect, it really made me start reviewing my own life personally and going, wow, I didn't really think about things that I did wrong or didn't do wrong in a different light, and now that I do, it makes me uncomfortable. But I'm not saying that that uncomfortability is a bad thing and that I don't like about the film. A lot of it's more or less, it's just, it happened and I didn't know how to feel about it, but I was determined to follow through with the film because I wanted to see what the aftermath would be. Now it's time to talk about the things I like. Now, the action sequences are great. I mean, the main character is pretty much, after being incarcerated, against his will for 15 years and subjected to hypnotic gases and hypnotic drugs in his water and having to be subjected to so much torture, he pretty much has nothing to lose. But at the same time, I think that there's a moment in his brain where it just snapped, where he doesn't feel pain. It's almost like he's superhuman in a way. At one point, he's fighting off a group of gang members that stab him in the back. He's got a knife in his back in half of the fight scene. And you don't see, he's faltering, he's falling down, he's getting back up. And you're sitting there going, he's got a knife in his back. How the hell is he still moving? How the hell is he still able to move around the way he is? And then after the fight's over with, when he's walking up a parking lot ramp, he just kind of looks back, pulls it out, and throws it off and just staggers away, covered in blood. Now that's funny in one aspect, but at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, wow, this dude, you don't want to fuck with him. You don't. I also love the concept of the man that is behind all of this evil about incarcerating him and why he incarcerated him. I mean, this dude makes a lot of people look like, you know, holier than thou art. I'm just going to put it that way. But when you get this story about how he's going to kill everyone this man loves because he knew too much about his life. I mean, this man killed he killed his wife, he killed his daughter, he killed any woman that this guy ever loved, and it's just like, damn. Talk about some savagery. Another aspect that I found interesting is the music. Most of the music in a lot of horror movies and a lot of psychological thrillers are very foreboding. There's a lot of deep bass, there's a lot of humming, there's a lot of different tones that make your skin crawl, that make your spine just stiffen up a little bit. But they didn't do this in this movie. They used pretty much orchestral music, violins, strings, anything that sounded almost like Mozart or Beethoven's, things like that. I mean, things that sound so beautiful. This music was playing even in the fight scene I brought up earlier, and it's just like, whoa. You're kind of like, okay, this is interesting, but still, it's almost as if you feel his pain, you feel his anger, you feel his sorrow, you feel his betrayal, you feel everything. You are invested in this movie. For better or worse, you are invested. It's time to grade this movie. I mean, I'm going to go ahead, A+. Seriously, I mean, I was blown away. Messed up afterwards and in between, but I was still blown away because it makes me want to sit down and kind of think about my own life. And not a lot of movies do that. So yeah, A+ for Oldboy. Well, we hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure that you leave a thumbs up. If you've seen this movie and you don't agree, you can leave a thumbs down. But make sure you share on social media, and most importantly, you push that little red button and ring the bell for instant notifications. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we will see you tomorrow for our final day, day 31 of Shocktoberfest 2023. Before I forget, thank you again, Trixie, for this movie review, and otherwise, everyone, stay scared, kiddies.